this is Jennifer from Jentle Soaps, and I have been working with a new kind of black soap from Africa. This time we're going to Morocco. Now Morocco has a liquid soap made with black olives and olive oil, and it's used in their spas. So it's a moisturizing soap that you leave on the skin, and then you get in the sauna, or you're in a hot steamy room, or you're in your shower, or however you want to do it. And then you take this mitt that's slightly abrasive and you work the soap all over your body and off. You rinse it clean, and it's supposed to leave you so soft and so awesome. I absolutely adore it. I have already made a face wash with it, and I can't believe how awesome it is. I thought that the olives would be a little off-putting, but I think you're going to find the whole process fascinating because it behaves a lot different than your normal potassium hydroxide based soap. Sabon Beldi Hammam, and it's another olive oil based soap. It actually has a whole can of black olives in it, which is pretty incredible. It adds a lot to the soap, and it's a very moisturizing soap. Now this is a recipe that I developed myself, but it's based on a traditional recipe that's 100% olive oil, but I've changed it and I've added argan oil and coconut oil and a little shea butter. So it's got some yummy stuff in it. And if you'd like a copy of my recipe, just, send me an email or comments below, and I'm willing to share. As always, I just like to talk to you. So if you just want to watch and see how I do it, that's great. Just come on in and tuck in while we make soap. Moroccan style, it's another liquid soap. Potassium hydroxide is a different kind of beast to work with. It actually growls at you, which is kind of fun. So hopefully I'll catch that on camera so you can see that. And you're going to see all this liquid soap behaves differently than my other liquid soap. It's interesting, and we're going to do the cold process counter method. This is my method. Other people might do it with a crock pot, but this works for me because my lifestyle and how I work, and I actually have a kitchen where I can just soap, so I don't have to worry about kids getting into it or anything. So without further ado, let's head to the soapy kitchen and I'll show you what I'm cooking up. Okay, today I'm making another liquid soap. This one comes from Morocco, and after doing quite a bit of research, I modified it a little bit. The name of this soap is Sabon Beldi Hammam, and it generally isn't a very lathering soap, so it doesn't have a lot of bubbles. So I did slightly increase, or actually I added a bit of coconut oil to this. So we got some virgin coconut oil in here, olive oil. We're going to be pureeing black olives, and some argan oil. And again, this is another potassium hydroxide recipe. And so let's get started. Alright, let's see if I can use this old style can opener, which is what my soapy kitchen inherited. I might have to go buy myself a starfrit. Alrighty. That aside. Alright, now I'm going to drain off the liquid into a different container because I'm actually going to use it instead of lye water. Why waste it, right? You've got a liquid ingredient. Can't imagine wasting it. So we're going to ground these up, and hopefully we'll have at least a cup. And then we'll use the essence of the olives as well. So I'm going to go over here to my KitchenAid and blend it up, and then I'll be right back. For a whole cup. And this is a little bit more than a cup. So this is a bigger recipe than that one, so we're going to use the entire can, which is just about a cup and a bit, a cup and a half, maybe a cup and a quarter, somewhere in there. This is a cream or liquid soap, so it's okay to have a little extra if we have it. However, We need 175 grams of water, so we've got some more measuring to do. Oops, might need that later. So we're going to do a mixture of what's left of the juice, because I had to use some of it for to paste off the olives. So we need 175 grams. And you know, it's almost exactly, if I hadn't added any, 175 grams in the cup. So I'm just going to add a little more just in case we do need it. There's going to be some possibly lost in the evaporation process. So we have to measure out. The next thing we need to measure out is our, and I'm just going to give this a little wipe so it's dry on the inside, our potassium hydroxide. We're also adding 175 grams of glycerin after the mix. I'm not going to mix it with the lye. That just I've heard of reactions having, and I'm just not gonna take any chance. So we're gonna zero, and I'll add it afterwards. So 100 grams of potassium hydroxide into the deadly cup. Grams. I'm gonna go get my mask on. Where's my mask? Alrighty then. I'll get rid of this. Now, I'm not going to talk because I want you to hear the reaction, to see how very different potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide sound. Okay, I'm going to add these a little at a time. Interesting. The last time when I was making liquid soap, oh, there we go. Did you hear that? It actually growls at you at the end of the uptake. So I am going to set that over here, and we're going to measure out the glycerin into the lye solution cup because that's where it goes. Alright, so I'm going to on, and it's at 0, and we need to add 175 grams. Luckily I have a gallon. So 0 again. And when you do it this way, you need to go slow and steady and carefully. Otherwise you go over. You can't pull it out. Now for the 175. Okay, so let's give that a little stir. Now that's going to bring the temperature down a little bit. Now again, I'm going to be making this countertop hot process, or I don't know, it's non-cook. It's It's not going to be going in the oven. So let's just check my temperatures. Okay, that's cool. It's 135. This is quite a bit hotter, so I'm going to add it a little bit at a time, since we've got such a discrepancy in that one, because this one's just going to get colder. All right, so I'm going to add just a little bit. Now you just cook it till it's done, stir it till it traces. And like any cream soap or liquid soap, it needs time to blend, or as soap makers like to call it, it grosses me out, rot. It's basically a holding period for it to mature and to be done. We don't call our curing soaps rotting, so I'm not really sure why the liquid soaps are rotting. If somebody can explain that to me, I really appreciate it. I prefer to call them curing or maturing or anything other than rotting, because anything rotten, we don't put that on our bodies. That goes in the garbage. The garbage, I tell ya. All right. There we go. Oh, that's lovely. That glycerin really adds a lot. Okay, so I'm going to get out my stick blender and start stick blending. And then we're going to add the olives a bit at a time. This is completely different, completely new recipe for me. So I'm not really sure how this is supposed to go. It's soap. I'm making soap. Glycerin and the black olive juice, brine, whatever you want to call it, to this, and we have been blending it for a few minutes, and it's just starting to get a bit of a trace. So you see it's still doing that normal thing that liquid soap does when you do any kind of liquid soap. It loves to separate and scare you to death, but you know, give it a good stick blend and you're good. Just make sure you've got a spare if you're doing more than one project for the day. I have 2 stick blenders for a reason, not just because I'm greedy. But here, let's give it another blend, give it a whir, and we'll see. Now, do you see the 2 colors? The layers are not completely homogenized, and I'd be interested to, I'm watching this very closely because I'm wondering if that additional glycerin helps it to homogenize faster. So if it does, I'm going to try it with my next liquid soap. Definitely reached a trace, so I'm going to go ahead and start adding those olives, a few scoops at a time. The recipe actually called for a ton, so I'm going to add half of it first. I don't reduce the temperature too quickly. second or third time. I'm giving it a nice little sticker. The smell of this. I didn't really like the smell of the olives when I was adding them, but I like the smell of this. We'll see again what this does overnight. Look how fluffy it is already. I did get a bit of air in there though, trying to homogenize it, but it's kind of like Jello. Look at it wiggle. The other one didn't do that. My regular one that I do doesn't do this. So this is a completely new beast. I'm going to leave that in there. I think I'm going to take it all out. And we'll cover it up. Let's see what we have in the morning. It's probably going to separate out again. Don't freak if it does. Always stick blender it again. It's got a long... We're back day 2, and here's the olive oil. Literally lots of olives in here. So we're going to, it's gotten very thick as you can see, and I'm going to use my handy dandy blender to try to break some of this up and make sure it's completely homogeneous. So we've got some stuff on the bottom that needs to be mixed in. That's normal. This is nothing like making soap with sodium hydroxide. It has some weird stuff going on that you're not going to necessarily know what to do about. If in doubt, mix it again. So I'm going to get a good blend. You know, in hindsight, I'm thinking, you know, a KitchenAid mixer might work really well for something like this as well. If you're just making a small amount. If you're going to be making large amounts of this, I would suggest you get a paint mixer and a drill. Just make sure it's a stainless steel mixer or plastic. Plastic's fine too, as long as it's heavy duty stuff. And And this is exactly what you can expect. So, see, I didn't blend it and mess with it for hours on end yesterday. It's just not worth it. Just relax, take it easy, let the cold process work. It works slowly, but it's far less labor intensive than the other method. Alright, so I'm just going to let this be for, I might check on it tonight to see if there's any separation. If I do, I'll bring you back. I'm going to give this a run through with my spatula, make sure that I've homogenized it again, because we're trying to emulsify it all together so it becomes this one glorified soapy goo. Because soapy goo is so awesome. Not awesome stuff. Oh, this stuff smells good. Now, when you get it in Morocco, apparently it's not scented. And I am moving more and more toward unscented products for myself. I can always layer with perfume if I want to. But like the things I clean my skin with are pretty. Our skin is one of our most important organs, so we need to take really good care of it. So products like this, I think, just make it even better, even healthier. Healthy choices, right? Even my soap sometimes. All right, I'm going to cover this up, and we'll come and check it in another 24 hours, or 12 to 24 hours. If I come back, yeah, anyway. This is the third or fourth time I'm giving you a little peek. And I'll make sure I do it before, I make sure I show you before I even touch it, if I can remember. All right, there we go. All right, so here's the finished soap. It's really, really thick, and now it needs to age like all liquid soap, so I'm going to be putting it in a jar and setting it aside, and then we'll start our projects with using fragrance, because I really think Rice Flower and Shea would be amazing for this particular soap, and maybe adding some activated charcoal. There are so many possibilities here. Of course, we'll do some that's plain and inspired by the original formulators, for people who like a more purist form of the soap. And yeah, it definitely smells like olives, but it's not unpleasant. I really will be making this soap for years to come. I really, really, really like it. So yeah, it seems really thick right now. It's because it needs to relax, and that'll happen as it sits in the jar and time does its thing. So yeah, be patient with it. And I've actually used in this formula coconut oil because I want lather. I hate it. I really, really don't like soap that doesn't have bubbles, and I know I'm not alone. But it is inspired by the original Moroccan soap, with a few of my own preferences added in. So there's shea butter in there, as well as the olive oil and coconut oil. This is a very nice soap, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So here we have it in a jar, and I'm going to put this in a cool, dark place so it can blend or mature, or whatever you want to call it. Really excited to use it, and I hope you give it a try. Click like and subscribe if you want to learn more about how to use this product, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.